Hiya, my name's Charlie and welcome to my channel and welcome to this video. This video is about giving you guys some tips to help with your Victober TBRs. In case you don't know, Victober is a readathon, which I will obviously link the lovely host in the description, and it's hosted every single year and it's designed to get us to read more books by Victorian authors. So yeah, and it's something, a readathon that I always get excited for. But I feel like for some people this readathon might seem a little bit intimidating, might be put off by various different factors. So I'm going to be giving you guys some tips and also going through my TBR at the same time, just to make Victober, like, it's Victober made easy. Obviously each year the hosts will put out a million recommendations, so I highly, before you do anything else, obviously watch their recommendations videos. That's always the first place to start. But yeah, I'm just going to point out some really obvious tips, and then, like I said. So the first tip I've got is to read plays. Because I feel like plays are such an easy and accessible like way of reading Victorian literature. The ones I'm going to be reading, dipping into, I've got some of Oscar Wilde's plays. A lot of these are like, some of them are a little bit longer and some of them are only a few pages, and they're all really really good. So I love Oscar Wilde's writing, as you will see in a minute, because I've got another book by him. And another play I'm going to be reading is Charley's Aunt by Brandon Thomas, and this is a satirical play. This is one I heard about on Katie's channel, and I'm super excited to read it. The next tip I have for you is short stories. I feel like short stories are another super accessible, like, short form content that you can pick up and dive into without feeling like you're committing to a big Victober book. So what example of this I've got a little Pan Macmillan edition of the Happy Prince and Other Stories by Oscar Wilde. It's another Oscar Wilde, but there are a load of other short stories by Victorian authors that you can pick up. So yeah, it's just another really easy way of reading a book, feeling like you're joining in without committing hard. As is another tip is to read a short book. So again, there are numerous short books that you can read. Obviously, like The Picture of Dorian Gray would be another good one by Oscar Wilde, or the one that I'm going to be reading is Miss Meredith by Amy Levy. This is a book about a young Jewish governess who falls in love with her employer, I think, and it's only like 69 pages. A lot of these books as well, with and I would say this for all of the Victorian books, you can get them for free. A lot of them you can download on like Kindle. Kindle have a load of free Victorian books. So right, another tip I've got is to reread a favourite Victorian novel. For me, I'm going to be rereading Dracula. I'm going to be downloading this from the Audrey app, which is another brilliant app which I talk about quite regularly. I'll put links in the description. Right, and this is an app that you basically, it's a no subscription app, and you basically buy per book, and the books are like, well, I think $3.99 each approximately, depending. I think that's roughly right. So they're very cheap, very reasonable, and they also come with loads of extra information and give you extra. They make the reading experience of a Victorian book much easier. I feel like they have loads and so there's loads of features of the Audrey app, which I'll link. My friend Jack did a whole video about the Audrey app, so I'll link that in the description. But yeah, it's another way of making the Victober books accessible and more understandable as well, so that's another extra thing for you. But yeah, rereading a favourite's never going to go wrong. I've recently reread Frankenstein a few months ago, and yeah, I'm a big advocate of rereading books anyway, and so yeah, I just think you can't go wrong with rereading one of your favourites. And I think it definitely makes it seem less intimidating. Yeah. Another little tip I've got for you is to do a group read or a buddy read with somebody. I mean, for Victober there are always loads of buddy reads and group reads going on. Obviously we've got The Way We Live Now by Anthony Trollope, which is the Victober group read specifically, so obviously you can join in on that. I myself am going to be buddy reading with a group of people on Voxer. We are reading The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. So I'm super excited to be reading with a bunch of people on Voxer of that. So yeah, and it's just, I feel like when you buddy read or group read with people, I feel like it gives you the motivation to carry on, especially when it's like a bigger book. It makes the whole book seem more accessible. For example, with this specific book, we are reading 2 chapters a day, and it just makes, I think it's like a nearly 600-page book, and it just makes it seem so much less intimidating. When you're reading with other people and you're discussing things, it just makes the whole thing more exciting and more fun. So for tip number 6 I have got is start your book early, or don't worry if you finish it late. So if you do whatever book you pick up, whether it's shorter or longer, if you want to start it like a few days before October, it's like, that's fine. And if you end up reading it and it spills into November, that's also fine. Like, there are no, like, the hosts of Victober are obviously super lovely, and there's no, like, no one's going to beat you over the head if you end up reading a book for like a few months longer than over into Victober. So I feel like sometimes, especially with the bigger books, there's like, obviously Dickens writes a lot of big books, and obviously even like Anthony Trollope, etc. Some of the books can be quite long, and they again are intimidating. So if people feel like they have to cram it all into 1 month, you don't have to do that. Like, so my example for this is I'm going to be hoping to read Tess of the D'Urbervilles, and I'm going to try and either start it early, or, like I said, if this spills into my November reading, it doesn't matter. So yeah, be gentle on yourself. This is a key thing with all reading anyway, not just Victober books. Tip number 7 is reading an author that you have previously read before. Again, when you read an author you've already read before, it just takes off the fear factor of committing to something that you might potentially DNF or not enjoy as much. So yeah, I just think it just makes it seem less an intimidating experience. So for me, I'm going to be, I'm on my TBR. I don't know whether I'll actually get to this. I will try. I love a Dickens book, so I'm going to be trying to read A Tale of Two Cities, obviously by Charles Dickens, and yeah, I love Dickens books anyway, and I know, like, probably going into this, I'll be excited to read some more of his work. So yeah, that's that. And my final tip for you guys is poetry. This was a prompt for last year, I think Victober. I think this is Roz's prompt last year, and again, a poetry collection. There's either you can read like a single poem, or you can read a whole collection. One of my recommendations, which I've previously read before, and actually I've reread it a few times, is The Goblin Market by Christina Rossetti. This is a brilliant poetry collection, and one lots of people love. Yeah, it's not very long. The actual whole collection is less than 150 pages. Yeah, and it's just, I love Christina Rossetti's poetry anyway, and yeah, this is a sure one. I can't wait to reread this. So yeah, that is all. Have you guys got any tips for reading Victorian books? Let me know in the comments below. So don't forget to check out the hosts and description, and I will put whilst all these books that I've mentioned for my TBR do fit into all the prompts, I haven't actually said which ones. I'll put all the prompts in the description. So yeah, I hope you guys are well. Let me know if are you joining in for Victober. Let me know what you're reading if you are. Let me know. Yeah. So yeah, take care, and send you guys up to love.